Alright, so, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Greetings.
That was
Hello.
pitiful, but you know what? We'll roll with it. So, Pikcast number 11. It hasn't been that long since we uploaded Pikcast number 10, but granted, that was recorded about 2 months ago. Bad on my part. So, sorry about that. But without further ado, let's get the introductions out of the way. First, we have Blue Swift Luther, also known as Shadow Raptor. And then we have Josh.
Hi, I'm still here, but I'm sick, so Nathan's taking over for me.
Yes. He is the not feeling of the well.
Crazy.
Listening in, we have Ben, and he's not just listening, he will be commentating, and someone will be reading his text because he has Mike's not good or something. And we also have Breezy, who is here for the noises.
She grows up so fast.
I think about those. I'm normally good at these. That's what I was told I was supposed to do, so here I am.
Next, first to Pikcast newcomer. Where's the? I'll put like the Smash Bros like newcomer.
I was about to say, put the Smash Bros thing, but
Yeah.
make sure you have like a silhouetted vending machine.
Yeah. We have Deneverek. Yep. We have the mighty return of Patrick,
Greetings, all.
also known as Professor Wormwood. And last but not least, we have Tommy.
What?
It would be better if you had like food in your mouth, so you just get like chewing like something crunchy. Just what?
On a side note, I would also like to know, Nathan, why did you call me Pac-Man earlier today?
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that. It was
We
a
call him
slip of the
Pikmin instead
tongue.
of Pac-Man.
Hold up, what did you call him?
Pac-Man.
Can we call him?
I accidentally
Pac-Man?
referred to Patrick as Pac-Man.
Beautiful.
And I thought he
Beautiful.
It just slipped, I'm sorry.
How was that not intentional?
I thought he said Hagrid, so it's okay.
I would probably call you Patrick
Like
before I
the
call you Hagrid. Or Pac-Man.
Hagrid.
Or Hagrid. Pat
It
Rick.
are like different.
What was the name of
things
the owl from Harry Potter? Was that Hagrid or is Hagrid
No,
the
that
jack?
was the
Hedwig.
a gatekeeper.
Hedwig.
Hedwig is the thing. Is the bird.
Anyway,
the
so
half-giant
Pikcast. So
Silly fandoms being a distraction.
I want to mention it first because I didn't mention this last Pikcast, and it can be very useful, and it's kind of important to mention at the beginning. In the description, I will have timestamps, so if you don't feel like listening through the whole thing and you're a weeb, then you can click the timestamps below and skip to the different topics.
That's very insulting to me, Nathan, because I'm a pure weeaboo. I really enjoy watching Naruto and Bleach.
Subtitles.
Well, I need my subtitles.
Don't
Please
forget
do not use weeaboo.
And also, comment below because we respond to those. We do listen.
I didn't actually watch the last Pikcast, so I haven't responded. to
You were
anyone.
in the last. You were in the last Pikcast. Okay, I
know it was,
I
but
respond
it
to the comments. So if you want to hear
Okay,
from
that's
me,
good.
you can comment. If you want to hear
If you
from
That's all that matters, Nathan.
If
That's
you
all
want to
we
hear
want to
from
hear from.
me, put like kazoos in Spanish in the comments right now.
just leave Josh a voicemail.
Kazoos in... Wait, how do you do kazoo in Spanish? Like,
How do you do
what-
sign language in Japanese?
Oh my god, you're hurting my head.
So getting to the first topic today, it's actually a little bit of a continuation of last Pikcast. It's Pikmin 3 ripping, because we've discovered a couple new things. First off, Boldman may have been planned for Pikmin 3 because of some files that we found. which would have been very interesting how they implement that. And I'm actually surprised that they even started on Bulbman, granted how, like, little work they did on the purple and white Pikmin. But anyway. Next, wing Pikmin may have been orange, as they were referred to as orange Pikmin multiple times in the files of the game. Which also would have been strange, especially since Bulbmin were there, and Bulbmin were kind of like the orange Pikmin, kind of, in the game files of Pikmin 2. They kind of alternated between green and orange. But lastly, we have probably the coolest part of this, thanks to SBO and the other people helping with the Pikmin ripping.
Such as Dave.
We have translated the Koppaite language. And Dave and...
Nathan, is it okay? Nathan, is it okay if I elaborate on this a little bit?
Sure. I was just gonna, before you do, credit goes to Dave for translating a bunch of the stuff on the game. That'll be on the wiki. And also Tommy helped on that. And SBO for ripping. And then I made a font based on the text, and that'll be in the description as well, so you guys can check that out. It actually works as a translation.
Woo! Sorry.
Go ahead, Luther.
Alright. Once upon a time, approximately
Gonna
48
cancel
hours
forever.
ago, it was... What was it, Tuesday? It was
Think
Tuesday. It
Probably
was
like
Tuesday.
Monday for some people.
And I was on break at work, and suddenly I look at my phone, and I see there's a message from Espio on Skype, and he says, "Holy crap, dude, look at this." So I look at it, and it's a decipherable chart of the Koppaite language, and immediately I realize in my head this means all that gibberish in-game actually means things. So I texted Dave, get on Skype right now. We've discovered the Koppaite language. And then he spams a bunch of one-worded text because that's how Dave talks for some reason. And then he came on and he started deciphering everything. And we found some pretty interesting stuff. For example, of some of the levels in the game, such as the Garden of Hope, it directly says that the Garden of Hope is named after an area from Pikmin 1. It straight up says Pikmin O-N-E. It said, like, name pattern shared with level from Pikmin 1. It says something along those lines. But here is perhaps the weirdest one. There is one fruit in the game, I believe it's the face wrinkler, that the Koppaite gibberish that accompanies it translates to "Tom is on the job."
So Tom,
Are you
he's on the
serious?
job.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Wait.
Okay, here's what's interesting.
Tom is on
Here's
the
what's
job?
interesting. I thought it was maybe a joke from like one of the American localization team members. Maybe his name was Tom or something. But then Cameron pointed out something interesting to me. In the game Codename Steam for the 3DS, there's a character named Tom, and his catchphrase is "Tom is on the job." And so some people are thinking this was a reference to Codename Steam almost a year... No, it almost like, I think, like 18 months before Codename Steam was even announced.
What if it was like a
Can you post like
employee?
a picture of Tom?
What if it was like a guy named Tom that worked at Nintendo, and it was like a joke about him, and so they just started putting it in a bunch of games?
Like, guys, like, leave me alone. I'm just the janitor here.
Does the character from Codename Steam have anything to do with lemons?
Well, all the characters are based off of actual characters from literature. He's literally Tom Sawyer.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say Tom Nook, but yeah, Tom Sawyer is the person that...
Tom Nook.
Yeah, and he sounds just like Pit from Kid Icarus Uprising, but if like Pit was like a hick, so he's like Pit and Applejack mixed together.
Kick.
He's all like, "Tom is on the job," and then whenever an alien sees him, he's like, "Oh shucks, I've been found out."
Something
he's
else
a fun character.
that Dave translated that I thought was funny was the back of like the Drake. It literally just says "We use spaceship."
Oh, also speaking of the
I was waiting
Drake.
for somebody to mention that.
Speaking of the Drake, some of the other text says something about SS Drake, and then it has a serial number with the word cat in it, which is interesting because the Drake has a little symbol on it that looks like a cat, and then it says something about Alf's grandfather, but it literally says like designer and then altogether Alf's grandfather, no space. But Dave theorized that maybe the serial number and the cat means that like, and it's spelled it's spelled CAHTE. So Dave thinks maybe like the Drake is from a line of ships, or maybe like the drivers inside the ship. are like for like a driver called that.
Okay, I just want to point something out, and I'm not sure if this will be, Pikcast appropriate. I decided to Google image search Tom is on the job, and it came up with Community Christian Church's pastor. So I was thinking it was like some kind of maybe like a Japanese meme or something, but no. Tom is on the job is just Tom is on the job. Like there's nothing special about it.
And by the way, a lot of the text seems to be like spelled like so that it can be phonetically recognized. For example, Tom is on the job has anywhere where there's supposed to be an O, it's an AW. Like Tom is on the job. I guess because in Japanese the O is pronounced with a more like sharper like. Also, every time it says player, in the Koppaite text, it's spelled PLAIR. So I thought that was interesting to throw in there.
PLAIR.
Yeah, PLAIR. That's how it spells player. Like it says like player 1, player 2. Also,
it doesn't even have like an E.
Huh?
It doesn't even have an E.
Nope. It just says PLAIR like 1 or PLAIR 2. Also,
I mean, the I can also be a Y, but.
Huh?
The I can also be a Y.
Possibly. Also, another thing to mention is that Nathan forgot to mention is that while we were data mining and found stuff about like the Pikmin, like the orange Pikmin, we also found an early beta model for the Master Onion. And this one was particularly interesting because it looked a lot like the onions in the past Pikmin games, but it was see-through. Also, something was messed up about its legs, and its legs are like spazzed everywhere. It looked like just an onion sitting on top of spaghetti. And then also we found files for character D and E, except they were just Olimar and Louie. So character D probably never made it anywhere past concept art. I actually have this theory that they weren't even supposed to show character D or mention the fact that there was 4 players in what do you call it? At E3 2012. I think that might have been thrown in there by accident. They just rolled with it because they literally don't bring him up anymore after that. That's literally the last we heard of character D at that one.
Something that actually Chugga Conroy brought to my attention that I hadn't really thought of, and this kind of actually proves that fact a little bit, is that character D might have just been Louie all along. And like originally they weren't gonna have Olimar and Louie in the game, but then they decided to, and that Louie was originally going to be playable because I mean Louie's with the other captains for a large portion of the game, so it's very possible that
actually makes sense.
Yeah, that Louie was character D and Louie was the 4th playable character.
Like you would obtain him later as the 4th character to play as.
Mm-hmm.
Now they originally had 4 leaders.
And I mean,
another thing. Oh, sorry.
You
finish yours and then I'll go.
I was just gonna re-say, like that, the fact that the file points directly to Louie as character D, it's kind of convincing.
Well, it could also be because character D, like Olimar and Louie, are playable, in the like. Okay, here's what we'll have to do. Like, I don't know if it'll be possible, but if the Pikmin 3 like file dump that Andre got a hold of it comes from before December, then that will confirm that. But if it comes from after December, it could very well be that Olimar and Louie were added in there when the 3rd DLC pack came out.
It's also the fact that Louie is listed before Olimar makes me think that a little bit. Because I mean Olimar is obviously the main character of the Pikmin series, so why would Louie take precedence?
You know, that actually brings up a point. Just remind me just really quick, Nathan. There's actually something I'd like to discuss in a future Pikcast, or maybe just in a separate video by itself. And I may be like, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I just feel like, is Olimar the main character of the Pikmin series?
Or is it the Umibuzu?
I thought it was.
Well, no,
because
the way
the game is called Pikmin.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Josh?
I don't know. I thought Pikmin were the main characters because the name
That's
of the
a
game
good point.
is Pikmin.
No,
I don't know.
the reason I was saying this is because the way I saw it is that Olimar was in the first game and he was in the second game, but there wasn't outside of the actual like gameplay and only through notes and stuff was there ever any sort of character development. Aside from that, like you just played as him, whereas the Koppites and stuff like that actually converse with each other on the field, and they actually feel like characters.
Well, looking at the fact that he was the main character of Pikmin 1, the only character in Pikmin 1 other than the Pikmin, I guess he mentioned some other characters, but he didn't. They weren't actually debuted. Pikmin 2, he was the first captain you play as in that game, and pretty important. And he did have some dialogue in that game, I believe. No, he didn't, did he?
No, he did. But like, it didn't really feel like it didn't really feel like character development sort of dialogue, and like
that's true.
It was all given to you in between the game, is what I'm saying.
But aside from the fact that Olimar's been in more games than any of the other characters, the main reason
I understand that, but here's where I'm coming from. What if the Pikmin series ends up not really being about Olimar per se, but ends up being more about different like people who all end up becoming stranded one way or another on the Pikmin planet?
I mean, it's
You
very
mean
possible.
the game Pikmin becomes about the Pikmin? I'm going off of a long shot here.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like that was the plan since 2001.
Here's what I think would be an interesting route for the series, and I'd have like zero complaints if they did this. I think it'd be pretty cool. Like it's like with Olimar, at first he needed the Pikmin's help. And like at first he needed the Pikmin's help to save himself. Then he ended up coming back and exploiting the Pikmin for his own personal gain. In this game, the Koppites used the Pikmin because they needed help as well. So what if Pikmin 4 is about the Koppites realizing the usefulness of the Pikmin and come back, and they end up like exploiting the Pikmin for their own personal gain? Then the Pikmin, like Pikmin 5, will feature a whole new cast and the cycle repeats.
I mean, that's very possible.
It would feel very Fire Emblem-y, where Fire Emblem doesn't really have a true main character because of how many characters there are.
But let's not forget that Olimar was in Pikmin 3 too.
Yes, I understand that, but he wasn't like really.
Okay,
That's true.
on the whole, is Olimar the main character or not thing? Now, the Pikmin themselves are of course, the most iconic characters of the games in general, of the whole
Right.
franchise. Olimar is without a doubt the main character of Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2, I'd say. And there's 3 games so far, and he is the main character of 2 out of 3. But, like Luther said, if in the future other games don't have Olimar as the main playable character, then he's not the main character of the entire franchise.
He could be like the underlying main character.
Here's
He's the most
thing.
iconic non-Pikmin character.
The whole thing where, like Olimar showing up in other games, like, the only time that's really a thing is in Smash Bros. But in Smash 4, we obviously have Alf and Olimar as playable characters. But any other time there's been a Pikmin Easter egg, it's usually been because of the Pikmin, or I think in Animal Crossing with the SS Dolphin.
Yeah.
So I think what we should do, before we say Olimar is the main character, is let's see, like Pikmin 4, if he's a main character or not, and then that'll be like 2 out of 4, and then I guess Pikmin 5 will seal the deal.
Well, let's not forget that he's the only character in story mode, and then also he's the character you pretend to play as in Pikmin Adventure.
Okay.
Well, he plays a captain in Pikmin Adventure.
It says you play as the captain Olimar.
Hang on, let me explain here really quick. The only reason that Olimar is in Smash, and the only reason that he's probably in Pikmin Adventure, is because at the time that both those things were around, he was the only character we could really go to. I mean, like, for example, like if there was a game series that just started out or had a like for example, Wonderful 101, like there's 101 different characters in the game, but if you chose like what's his name, like Wonder Red to be the main character, and then so he ends up appearing in Smash, people would start calling him the main character. But what if Wonder Red doesn't show up in any sequel games? And then like he ends up not actually being the main character. It's just they needed something to represent the series.
So what about the shorts?
Okay, well the shorts were focused directly on Olimar. I mean, they could have made shorts about Louis, and it wouldn't have been no different. It just would have been shorts about Louis.
Well, that's why I'm
It's
saying, like, the
almost-
fact that they focused it on Olimar kind of...
I think
It's
we
almost
do.
like, it's
I
almost
think-
like a Fire Emblem thing, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's actually something I'd like to see, like a Fire Emblem.
That'd be
like
pretty
I
thing.
think
cool.
we've taken this like too far. I think it's been like 30 minutes
No,
of this.
that's a pretty cool discussion, but...
Well, yeah.
I
but
also-
I feel like we're
I
drawing it
also
out.
would like to add, and I'm gonna relate it to another game, Ace Attorney. Wow, we're going far places that are not relevant. Barely. Okay, so Phoenix Wright is not necessarily like okay. How do I explain this without taking too long? Okay. So yes, the games or the first few Pikmin games are actually kind of about well, yeah, it's about saving Olimar, but it's really like Pikmin are a big focus. You're playing as Olimar, just like in Phoenix Wright. The game's not really about Phoenix Wright. It's more about the people he interacts with. And something I want to point out about Pikmin 3 is that Pikmin 3 is, while Olimar is not seemingly a main character, he is a big focus in that game. Because without Olimar and without saving him, the Koppites can't go home.
Yeah.
See,
Oh.
what the first two games, before Pikmin 3 came out, and up till Pikmin 3 came out and I played it, I had always thought like the first two games, the biggest cliffhanger is what really are the Pikmin? Like I didn't really like how do they work? Why do they follow this captain? What's going on with that? When Pikmin 3 came out, that shift kind of focused to what's up with the Plasm Wraith? What's up with Olimar? His
Yeah.
obsession with Olimar.
I think it's just widening the questions, and maybe it'll come to a close someday.
Maybe.
Also, another cliffhanger that Pikmin 3 leaves us is the very fact that Olimar went to the planet with what's his name?
Louis.
He went to the planet with a mission, and that mission was to collect more treasure. He ends up leaving empty-handed. So the entire point that he went to the Pikmin planet was like just it was futile.
Yeah, and he wrecked his ship.
That too, he lost his ship.
And he lost Louis. Louis was left on the planet.
And he got scarred.
You know what I really hope Pikmin doesn't end up doing? I really hope some weird time warp stuff happens in like a future game, because you never know what's gonna happen. I really hope like some like time warp stuff doesn't happen in the future that's going to result in basically the timeline being reset like to like before this undesirable event happened, just so that like the fandom can calm down. I mean, X-Men did that. My Little Pony's probably going to do that at the end of season 5.
No,
I mean, I don't want to see Pikmin do that.
Well, I think Miyamoto doesn't really care what the fans think. That's been proven in the past.
I don't think Miyamoto cares what the staff thinks.
Good
Yeah.
point.
That's also true.
I think
Anyway,
we should move on.
yeah, going back to our script.
I just want to say though, with the whole Tom is on the job, I googled
He's
Tom is
still
on
on
the
that.
job. That's what I wanted to say for like the past 20 minutes. Is that I did the whole where it's like Tom is on the job kind of thing, and I found this Tumblr and it talks about Tom DeLonge or Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 and how he overpronunciates words.
He does, but I love it.
So that's what I found for Tom is on the job. That's Josh is on the job if
Good.
Tom is on the job. I'm just posting the link to that in Skype. It looks like my Skype's about to crash, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Good work, Josh. All right. So moving on, Josh, you wanted to talk about a certain
Yes.
Pikmin Fannon
Art
or-
guy. Yeah. So for those of you who may or may not know or really care, I go to an art school. Blah blah blah. My major is 3D modeling. And I saw on the Pikmin Fannon wiki, I don't even know why I was on the Pikmin Fannon wiki, to be honest. I never come here. But anyway, I found this this guy named Scruffy.
And for those of you who are, active on Pikmin Fannon, he made this thing called Pikmin Forever, which sounds just like a run-of-the-mill Pikmin fan fiction-y kind of game. And he is doing 3D art for it. And he's done some really, really amazing art for this. He uses the Blender, I think it's Autodesk Blender, which is really, really good. And I actually talked with him about it, what does he use? Because I'm actually jealous of him because I've been going to school for a year now, and he's really this good. And he says he can only do stills, but he is planning on taking requests. I'm not saying, go there and bombard him with requests, but he's planning on taking requests for all kinds of different stuff.
Have you noticed that when we look at the fandom, we end up finding really cool stuff?
Yeah, but we have to look long and hard. He does really good stuff. For any of you who care, though, he's really bad with poly count and all that. But he is willing to give lessons in Blender as well. He's unveiling some big secret project he's 60% done with. We really have no idea what it is, but he's really good at recycling stuff. He has done a lot of really impressive work. I recommend checking him out on Pikmin Fannon. It's pikminfannon.com. You can find it under any of the Niwa wikis. His name is Scruffy. Let me just find his exact name. I'm on his page. Yeah, his name is just Scruffy. So he does a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, show him some of his stuff.
I'll post images. Yeah,
it's really cool, and I really want him to get some recognition. So yeah.
You and the Gatling Groink are the most famous ones, I would say.
Yeah, so that's all I had to say.
Yeah, that does actually really tie into the next thing. We've seen all the creative work come out of the Pikmin Fannon and stuff, but the Pikmin wiki, the wiki format isn't really the best for what the Pikmin Fannon is. And so that's one of the reasons we've done this. But we have created a forums page, and that will be basically what the Pikmin Fannon is. I don't know how everyone on the Pikmin Fannon is going to feel about moving, but I feel like it's a much better format for showing off things that you've created and getting that out to the public. I know Scruffy is...
If I may say... What I feel would be really, really good is because for example, with Scruffy, I feel his stuff would deserve to have pages and articles and all that. I just feel the Pikmin Fannon just needs to be better run and better manages their stuff. So there's not a lot I'm actually browsing it right now, and it seems I think it's Wraith, who's one of the admins. He's actually keeping a good eye on stuff, and basically making sure there's none of the really just 3-sentence ideas with some really poorly drawn picture kind of thing.
Ben asked, he said, so what categories will there be? Just wondering if I want.
The Pikmin Forums is actually already up, so you can go check that out. I know we have a Pikmin Fannon section that will have Pikmin, enemies, items, and then it has a bunch of specifics there. And then we have a bunch of discussion posts, and then I think it's also news. We have one other section, community creations, which is art based off the, canon Pikmin series, just Pikmin art that you've done, music, remixes, stuff like that, not necessarily Fannon. And so that's part of the forums, is to kind of have a better format for that, but then it's also to try to get the community together, because I know we can't add everyone to this Skype group. That just can't happen because of the limitations of Skype and the limitations of how the things work. We'll never actually meet anybody because we'll never see them, and messages will just get stockpiled, and it won't be good. So the Pikmin, and we have a lot of people that want to talk to us and stuff, so the Pikmin Forums is really the best place to go for that. And so it's not quite finished. I will post the link in the description as soon as it is finished, but we have to type, me and Jordan have been working on it. We got to type up some rules, and once we're done with that, I don't think we're going to finish with all the looks of it before we open it up to the public. That can come later, but it should be pretty good to go, almost, just right after we get those rules done. So by the time this video's out, it's probably good to go. So Go sign up, make an
That'll
account
be
for
like
that.
2 months.
I know Scruffy's already, thanks. I know Scruffy's already, signed up for that, as well as some other members. Yeah, check that out. So, next on our list is something that we're kind of late to the party for, but it's kind of huge news. And that is that Miyamoto has confirmed that Pikmin 4 is not only far into development, but almost completed.
Pikmin 4!
This came to a surprise to most of us because we had heard, like, not the same information. But still, we don't have very much information. We don't know what console it's going to be on. We don't know when it's going to be released. We have no images or anything. Pretty much all we're going off is the word of Mr. Miyamoto, and that it's almost complete. So, hype, but uncertainty.
Okay. So, I got something to say here. Okay, so when Miyamoto announced the Pikmin 4, when he dropped the bomb on us, he told us he cannot say what console Pikmin 4 is going to be on, but he can tell us that it's in development and it's almost done. So this led a lot of things going through my head. One of them being, one thing I want to bring out real quick is that this interview, it was conducted in July, 1 month after E3. So why wasn't Pikmin 4 at E3? That's the first big question. Like, if it's almost done, and Miyamoto of all people, who's really strict when it comes to making games, says that it's almost done, why wasn't it at E3? Unless they, like, rushed to, like, almost finish it, like, in 1 month. It should have
I
been...
read Ben's question.
Wait, what?
I read Ben's question. He has a question that's important. He said, didn't Miyamoto say he wanted Pikmin 4 to be a game people buy Wii U's for recently?
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that confuses me. See, but a lot of people are thinking maybe it'll be on the NX, and I don't believe that's going to happen because if it's almost done, why would you make it on a console that's probably not going to see the light of day for like another 2 years? And also, how did you get it done this fast if you had to rebuild the engine from scratch? So, here's what I think. I think that what happened is Miyamoto, he actually said in an interview like 2 days after the Pikmin 4 announcement, he was in another interview and somebody asked him, what is your favorite character you've ever made? He said, normally I'd say the Pikmin, but this year we're dedicated on Star Fox. See, and that made me realize something. Not a week later, after the Pikmin 4 announcement, it was confirmed that Star Fox Wii U is being delayed. So here's what I think happened. They intentionally did not announce Pikmin 4 at E3 because they did not want to draw hype away from the Star Fox. And they embargoed the interview and told them not to release it unless Star Fox was delayed. That way they'd still have something for people to look forward to. And that's why I think that the interview was held up. So I still believe it's coming to the Wii U. I don't think it's going to come to the NX. I mean, it'd be cool if it did, but I highly doubt it will. When we'll actually see it, I have no idea. I want to say we'll probably see it before next E3, or if not, definitely at next E3.
Ben says, I feel like it will be Wii U's last big title, which I basically agree with. I think that is quite possible.
What I said when we were discussing this before is that Pikmin brought the Wii U into the world, even though it was like a year after it came out, but it was supposed to be a launch title. And then Pikmin is going to be seeing the Wii U out. Wii U is going to be the Pikmin console.
That would... I mean, the GameCube was kind of the Pikmin console, but, you know.
Shut up. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to point that out because not a lot of people, ever acknowledge that point.
Ben also is saying Nintendo Direct soon, he thinks, with Pikmin 4 as the subject.
I really hope so. I just hope that they do a really good job with advertising because it's already bad enough that they chose the most silent way possible to announce a first-party title.
Yeah, it needs to be as advertised as good as Splatoon was.
Yeah, Splatoon, they got that on the ball right there. And then Yoshi's Woolly World, like no one even knows it's out in America.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That like the only reason Pikmin 4 wasn't shown is because of Star Fox, and okay, the two biggest upcoming Wii U games are Star Fox and Legend of Zelda.
Upcoming, funny.
Yeah, like those are the only two. Okay, we have Animal Crossing Mario Party, but no.
We said okay. We're talking about games, not apps.
Right, we're talking like big main games, not stupid spin-offs. So
The big everyone will be excited for.
Nintendo, like, they have nothing under their belt. What are they gonna do this holiday season? It's very possible.
I honestly think
What about Animal Crossing?
I think Nintendo doomed themselves this holiday season unless Pikmin 4 is going to see a surprise reveal this December.
Let's not forget, Captain Toad was not a port. Captain Toad was like the same visuals as Super Mario 3D World, with a couple tweaks.
Yeah, it used the same engine.
Right, and that game was cheap to make, and it was quickly out. It's kind of the same thing with Pikmin.
Not to mention, it had a lot of gameplay. Like, that game had a lot of levels, and it was fun.
Not to mention, Pikmin 2 was kind of the same thing with Pikmin 1. So, Pikmin 4 could come out, it would cost Nintendo very little money, meaning the amount of hype wouldn't be as important to them.
I agree, and they'll most likely, of course, use
Okay, see, but once again, that is once again my number one problem with Nintendo. Like, a lot of, like, for some reason, my mom is very selective hearing, and she only hears when I praise Nintendo, so she thinks I'm some kind of, like, Nintendo, like, apologist. But she just, she never...
Nintendo weeb.
Pretty much. Like
anime.
as most of you people know, I'm probably, like, one of Nintendo's most, like, staunchest critics, or I can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of my biggest problems, that Nintendo is very selective on, like, what games they want to advertise, because they just don't care anymore. And that really bugs me. And, like, it's just like I've said since God knows how long. The number one thing every generation of consoles is advertising. Hardware is good, but it's not the most important, as can be seen with the Wii. It had good games and it was fun. People picked it up even though it was the weakest console on the market. And not to mention also, if hardware was the supreme factor, the Vita would be trumping the 3DS right now. That's not the case. In fact, the Vita's, like, literally just rotting in its. It's like when your grandma dies unexpectedly and she's just rotting on the couch and everyone thinks she's asleep.
That is a terrible metaphor.
No, it's a beautiful metaphor.
I like where this is going.
Well, I think Luther actually has a point on this one.
See, and then another thing that's really big and people need to know about is that innovation is important, but you do need to have good hardware because other companies are always going to be making better and better games, regardless if the consoles are up for it. I mean, just look at TVs. Did you guys hear they're already manufacturing 8K TVs, and 4K isn't even mainstream yet?
Yep.
Well, like, if anything is going to run consoles into the ground, it's going to be the TV industry. Like, that's honestly
Those damn TVs.
Because eventually they're going to start producing TVs. I mean, modern day consoles can't even run on 4K. I mean, not innately or not inherently, and like they're just updating way too fast. And that's my problem with Nintendo, is that they don't ever seem to want to take that leap, because they think, oh, it's still going to be a few years before the next big thing comes out. They did that with the Wii, where they basically said, I don't think 720p is that far. Like, I don't think it's that right around the corner, so let's just go ahead and make this console that's barely twice as powerful as the GameCube. And then, little did they know, the competition shows up, and bam, you got the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Then once again,
let's think about that for a second. One, the Wii took the Xbox and PS4 more to surprise than the other two companies. I mean, than the Wii did to them.
Okay.
Secondly,
yes.
The Wii sold phenomenally.
Okay, yes, the Wii did sell. See, okay, that's another thing about Nintendo is that they only seem to care about the money because the Wii, it was very like, okay, like I don't really know the way to put it, but a majority of the people that actually bought a Wii bought it for like Wii Sports and then never touched it after like the first month.
I still touch my Wii.
It sold a lot because casuals loved it, and then they got bored of it. And yeah,
I touch my Wii all the time.
Technically, the money. Wait, what did it say?
He said, I touch my Wii all the time.
Good.
Yeah, the maturity level hits rock bottom.
Bad boy.
And Patrick's a professional educator.
I can't even remember what I was saying now.
Just
All I'm thinking about is Tommy touching his Wii.
I'm really sorry about that.
Just remember to use the strap. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you don't want it hitting all over the place.
Oh.
Smash character confirmed.
I think Breezy's dead.
So back to what Luther was saying. Do you remember what you were saying, or?
Yes, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for going off like that. Basically, what I was saying is that a majority of the people who bought the Wii like touched it once and then they set it back down. But Nintendo didn't care. Nintendo didn't care because the money was streamed right into their pockets.
Yeah. Let's also think though, like you said, Nintendo didn't expect it, so they minimized their performance, but
they basically did the bare minimum of what they need to do, and they did that again with the Wii U.
Okay, but
because
let's think about what Nintendo has always done in the past, and what they've always said, and the reason for doing this. They say that they release limited hardware because that influences them to have more creativity with the limitations, which is very true.
Okay,
and
yes,
let's also think that the GameCube was the time that they didn't go with this rule. So the Wii being more powerful than the GameCube, I mean, the GameCube was super powerful for Nintendo standards. Then the Wii was, I mean, it's about average compared to Nintendo standards related to current hardware. So saying that because it was only a little bit more than the GameCube isn't really saying all that much. The really driver of the Wii was the motion technology.
Yeah, exactly. And the motion technology was a great idea because that skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all thanks to Nintendo that really took off. I mean, when people talk about motion controls, one of the first things they'll mention is obviously going to be the Wii.
Yeah, of course.
See, and I really hope that Nintendo doesn't try to stick with Nintendo's always been trendsetters. I really hope that if another company sets a trend, I really hope they don't try to follow through with it. I mean, because last generation it was motion. I feel that this next generation is going to be all about virtual reality because we have the Oculus Rift, we have the HoloLens, and now Sony's trying to make theirs. I really hope that whatever Nintendo's planning with the NX, I really hope it's not going to have some VR.
I'm pretty sure there have been multiple Nintendo executives who have said that they're not interested in virtual reality. So I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, augmented reality, I would much rather have AR over VR. Because what Nintendo did with the AR cards and the 3DS, that was something that I think could have gone places, but Nintendo didn't really elaborate on that anymore after the AR cards.
See, Nintendo's scared because they've already tried virtual reality in the past with the Virtual Boy.
That was Nintendo's one major failure. Oh yeah, by the way, that's another thing. I still hold to my belief that the Virtual Boy is Nintendo's only true failure. You can call the GameCube a failure all you want, but the GameCube still sold a fair amount, and it had a very dedicated fan base that loved the console and its games.
Mm-hmm.
The Wii U as well also sold an okay amount, and it has a very dedicated fan base that loved the console and its games. The Virtual Boy stands out because not only did it sell not even 1 million units, but on top of that, nobody supported it. Everybody hated it.
Yeah.
Like you can call the GameCube and a Wii U a disappointment all you want. That is true. But I'm not going to call it a failure. I don't think either of them are true failures.
I agree.
An economical failure maybe, but an overall failure, anything but that.
Right.
Because I have a Wii U here, I play it practically every day.
Same.
And I still love it.
It's a great console. Like, I have no interest in getting a PS4. I have a little bit of interest in getting an Xbox, but I feel like that's just because I like the controller.
I'm
I still play
playing an
my
Xbox
Wii.
One right now as we speak, and I enjoy it because it has games unlike the PS4.
Hey, you know what? I know PS4 is trash, but I only play Rocket League on it, so I'm going to defend that on that purpose.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
not
but
sorry.
you're a weeaboo.
Yeah.
And you watch
You know what?
trash
Fight me,
anime.
But
okay?
So...
Rocket League plays
Dude,
better on
you know
PC.
You know what?
Okay, yeah, like in all honesty,
I don't
like,
have a
one of the
PC
reasons
to
I'm
get
getting,
on, so
one of the reasons I'm even
that's
getting a
my
PC.
excuse.
Okay, for those who don't know, I'm using like a backup PC right now because my current one is in the shop getting new parts so it can be a gaming PC. Because
EA?
because a lot of games that I want on the PS4, I'm like, wait a minute, I can just get it on the PC.
Can't
It'd
get
be 1,000 times better.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are moving away.
Still defending
We're
my
not only
PS4.
away from Pikmin. We're away from Nintendo now. So I think it's about time we should wrap this up.
No, there's still one big thing we need to talk about.
What's that?
How much somebody touches their Wii.
Okay, Breezy. The joke's done.
I thought it was so funny.
An
We're
X?
beating a dead horse.
You can
now.
laugh about it in the
Yes.
comment section.
You know what? You're in
An
the
X?
comment section.
Yes, Josh is in the ball.
Next horse.
We have not talked
I'm,
about
like, sick.
NX, and I there's something big I want to talk about the NX, because not a lot of people still really know what we know about the NX, and they don't really know what to expect or what it is. So I want to elaborate on that. Basically, the first big thing I want to talk about is that for those who've been living under a rock for the past year, the NX is Nintendo's next dedicated gaming platform. I want to refrain from saying system because Nintendo refrains from saying system. They keep stressing the fact that this is a dedicated gaming platform. They do not say that it's a console. They don't say it's a handheld. That's exactly how they refer to it, a dedicated gaming platform. So that's how I'm going to call it. So they said they're going to talk about it. They're going to officially unveil it at E3 2016. That's what we know as well. But just recently, the hardware for the Nintendo NX was finalized, and developers kits, which, if you don't know, are what console companies release so developers can make games for their console. They officially released them sometime last week. I believe it was last Saturday, I believe, actually. Anyways, so it's been a little bit about a week now. So what we know about the NX is that it's Nintendo's next thing that they're making. It's gonna obviously what we do know right now is that it's going to be the successor to the Wii U. That's all we really know. Some of the companies that got the hardware development kits, we received some feedback from them, and what they said was very interesting. One of the first big things that they said was that the hardware is unparalleled, or at least poorly optimized, because they tried running a demo, and no matter what they tried to do, they could not get it to run steadily on like a hardware comparable to the PS4 and the Xbox One. So it looks like Nintendo might finally step up their game, and they might finally realize that sometimes you need to be ahead and you need to jump in front of the competition instead of just trailing behind and trying to be like, ooh, look, we're being innovative. Now that being said, it looks like Nintendo's still going to try a gimmick, which is okay. I mean, if they didn't have a gimmick, everyone would just complain it's the same.
Let's be sure to mention that is still in the state of being a rumor.
Wait, what?
That's still a rumor.
What's still a rumor?
That wasn't said directly from companies who have had the kits. That was posted on a article website.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much a rumor, so...
Yeah, one thing that looks increasingly more and more likely because of how many people keep bringing it up is there's a possibility that the NX will be a platform, and this platform will contain a console that will be the successor to the Wii U, and it will contain a handheld unit that will function as both a controller and as an independent handheld console similar to the 3DS. So imagine if you could use your 3DS as a controller for the Wii U and then take it with you and continue playing that game. So what I think Nintendo is going to try to do is they're going to try to bridge the gap between those two different markets to A, save costs, and B, allow people to continue playing their favorite AAA games when they're out of the house, which is really cool.
You worded that just like a commercial. Just like a Nintendo Direct. It's perfect.
Beautiful. Some other things that I could say is that this is something that I want people to know because people never seem to remember this. Back in February, there was a rumor. Well, it was... I don't know if it was ever officially debunked because no one ever seems to talk about it anymore. But back in February, there was this rumor about like specs for Nintendo's next console being leaked on the internet on a NeoGAF forum. And according to that forum, it was called the Nintendo Fusion. That was the name of the platform. And just like the NX, it came with a handheld unit called the Fusion DS, and there was the console that was called the Fusion Terminal, and it contained some basic knowledge such as just some like typical specs you'd expect from like a console, and it looked relatively powerful, like maybe on par with the PS1, the Xbox One, maybe a little bit over. It contained some pretty good chips and a pretty good graphics drivers. You used AMD again. So, but then there was something interesting that caught my eye. It said that there was going to be two versions of the console. There was going to be one that had a disc slot, and it would have 50 gigabytes of on console storage, and then there was going to be a discless version that would have 300 gigabytes. The reason this is interesting to me is because just recently, and by recently I mean about a month ago, Nintendo filed a patent for a console that does not have an optical disc drive. Then they filed a patent for a console that a controller that could be used independently. And then they also file things for like an achievement system and stuff like that. So it looks more and more like this Fusion rumor might actually hold more ground than it seems. And it could just be like a weird freaky coincidence, or it could be maybe it actually is leaked specs, just like maybe twisted a little bit so that like it's not 100% true. It's really hard to say at this point. If I can find an article for it, I will link it. And then you can put that link in the description.
Will do.
Because that's something that not a lot of people pay attention to. Also, something else really
Can do.
Mr. Macy!
Anyways, as I was saying, another interesting patent that Nintendo filed is for a controller that instead of traditional L and R buttons, like the shoulder buttons, it's gonna be two scrollable wheels. So you can press down on them, and you can also like scroll them like a mouse wheel to like flick through menus and stuff like that. I think that'd be interesting. Cool. I'm trying to like understand how that'd feel though. Like that'd probably feel really weird. Like I'm holding a controller right here right now. And so like with your index fingers, you just kind of like.
Just
maybe
imagine
it's kind of like the Steam
touching
controller.
your Wii. Just imagine touching your Wii.
Let it die, Josh.
That's what it'll feel
Thank
like.
you. I'm glad this joke came back.
Don't.
I appreciate it. I'm so glad though. I laughed for a good like 3 minutes.
We heard.
And I was squeaking, and it was not okay.
But yeah, that's what we know about the NX so far. That it's most likely going to be significantly powerful. It's most likely going to have a handheld unit that it's going to be probably what the Wii U could have been if Nintendo wanted to like be in front. But I guess they waited until after it tanked to realize, yeah, we should have done this before. But only time will tell, really, what's going to happen.
Yeah. I would like to mention, I talked with Luther about this and a few others, that, you know, if it doesn't have an optical disc drive, we talked about the possibility that it might use something like flash memory to store the game systems. And the other thing I had is that maybe that they might think about going retro and bringing back cartridges.
But instead of, like, retro big tanky cartridges,
Right.
Like we could maybe store games on micro SD cards or just SD cards in general.
I mean,
Yeah, just like they do with the Nintendo DS.
Yeah, SD cards nowadays are fast enough to run games off of them, so that could be.
if it's truly like half console, half handheld, then this wouldn't be that strange of a concept because the 3DS still uses cartridges.
Right, exactly.
No, but I think what they're doing is basically both of them are going to have identical hardware. Like I don't know what they're doing, but they're either going to build a really powerful, what do you call it? Like it seems like the handheld is going to have to be very powerful to run the games that the console will also be able to run.
So it'd be like console type A, you can have a console, or console type B, you can have a handheld. It's the same thing, but it's whatever method you prefer. That would be rad.
Yes.
That would be really cool.
However, it looks like they might be bundled together. I don't know if they'll be separate because I think they're supposed to work together. And it looks like we won't be seeing games that are developed for the Wii U and the 3DS anymore. Like we won't see a Wii U box and a 3DS box. There will just be the NX box because that one game runs on both.
I think that's a good concept. If they market it if they market it as both a handheld and they get the audience of the 3DS users and they market it as a console and they get the audience of the Wii user, then that's brilliant because they're focusing all of their development on one system and they're getting all the same sales from the other two consoles. If they can pull that off.
I'm sorry, did you just make a pun? Did you say 3DS users and Wii users?
Maybe.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. Anyways, yes, I understand 100% what you're saying. And I think that... Okay, here's another thing. Nintendo needs, and I'm not saying that this is an opinion, this is a fact. This is what they need to do, or they're gonna like end up just sitting in like a pile of crap all over again. What they need to do, they need to explain to people what exactly this next console is going to do.
And not just at E3.
Yeah, like they need to continue explaining. They need to have commercials. They need to do everything because this cannot be the same thing as the Wii U. Because I'm not saying Nintendo's gonna just completely go under. But this may be their last console.
And do not name it the Wii 3DS.
Yes, exactly. Just drop, please. For the love of God, drop the Wii brand. That is one of the things that like confuse casuals about the Wii U.
That's actually kind of funny though.
Title. Huh?
It's actually kind of funny though because it's the third Wii, so it's the Wii 3DS.
Die.
Oh.
See, also. I'd be totally fine with them dropping. Like, do you think they'll ever drop the DS brand, or do you think that's here to stay?
Well, as long as they're making gobs of money off of it, no.
Well, DS stands for dual screen, so I feel like they would have to add a third screen, and then this is just going to turn into Invader Zim.
Nintendo DS.
Oh my god.
Well, like the Game Boy, why did they take off the Game Boy name?
Because there was no longer a game for boys.
Because girls can play video games too.
That might be something to do with it, actually.
Yeah, that might be it. Although DS was dual screen, which was a big thing, but
yeah,
they could have called it the Game Boy DS.
And then when they called
imagine if it was called Game Boy DS.
Oh god.
That's exactly
the new Game Boy 3DS XL. Featuring Dante Devil May Cry.
We need to keep something in mind though. They literally just released a new 3DS called the new 3DS.
Okay, yes, but at the same time, they released the DSi 1 year before announcing the 3DS.
Really?
Yes, I remember that too because I had just bought one.
I feel like they did the same thing with Game Boy Color.
And then literally like two... Wait, what?
I feel like they did the same thing with Game Boy Color too.
I don't remember Game Boy Color too. Well, that was my first console, so I don't... I never paid attention. I feel like I had it a good few years before the Game Boy Advance came out anyways. That's what I feel. I don't know though. But yeah, I mean, it'd be very interesting to see where this goes. I really hope that Nintendo knows what they're doing because this could very well be the last we see of them if this does not go in a desirable route.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Nintendo's flopped.
Okay, no. What I mean by that is this. What I mean by that is this will probably be the last console we see from them.
What do you think?
I mean, they will undoubtedly continue to make games.
That's a conversation for another video, probably. What will Nintendo do if they don't do consoles?
Games? They'll be like Sega, except good.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine like Nintendo quality for like games. Can't call them first-party titles anymore. Imagine Nintendo quality game software with like the hardware of like PCs and stuff like that.
That would be rad.
Nintendo would rock that.
They would. They need to do that already. Keep the consoles. Get some PC exclusives. Give it exclusive features on the Wii U. Don't do that for everything.
Didn't they try that in the 90s?
I don't know.
Didn't they try to make PC exclusives? When cassette
But then they realized, wait a minute, PCs don't have exclusives.
Except when Nintendo made them. I will
What
say,
I mean-
when they did make their PC games.
What I mean is keep the consoles and don't allow the PC games to go on Xbox and PS4.
Yes.
Have PC console releases. Keep the consoles. Have PC games. Don't put every single one of your console games on the PC, but have a lot of them on there, and give the versions of the same games on the consoles extra bonuses or something. Free DLC. I don't know. Anything. I mean, that's a move that's worked for a lot of companies, so.
Yeah. And I really just want to hurry up, and I really want a new Nintendo Direct to come out so we have something to look forward to.
I
also want to see. I also just want to hurry up and zoom over to E3 because I gotta know what the NX is. I gotta know what Nintendo's doing.
Let's just keep this Pikcast going until it's released. Just keep speculating.
Right.
Do it.
I'm gonna no.
Even
no, bad idea.
like,
Stop watching the video.
It's like we're live streaming the entire time and finally the NX get released. We are here to announce Wii 3DS Boy Virtual Box 1.
Virtual Boy U.
Nathan, stop breathing.
Did you just do that in Iwata's voice? Did you just do that like Iwata was going to announce it at E3? Because if that's the case and they are mentioning the Virtual Boy, then ghosts really are coming to E3.
Oh my god.
No. What if they have some new hologram technology and they'll do like they did with Tupac?
Please no.
Where they, they'll have Iwata.
Please no.
He's
I
not
once channeled the spirit of Billy Mays, so yeah, sure, why not?
Hi, Billy Mays here.
Do I even want to know?
It was a weird day in class.
If you think about it, though, channeling Billy Mays would be a good idea because then he would do whatever you would want him to do. But wait, there's more.
Yes.
You get a bonus.
Also, you ask him how to do something. He's like, here's how to order.
I can't do this advanced algebra. Here's the order. It tells you the order of advanced math.
Alright. Well, are we satisfied?
I'll never be satisfied.
The last thing I have on my script is kazoos in Spanish.
I put that in.
Sombrero, Teletron.
I actually can't kazoo that loudly because my mom is asleep in the other
room.
room.
That was such a letdown.
Also, guys, okay, no, this is for the viewers. Everyone else, shut up. I don't care about you. Listen to this. Shut up, I said. Okay, listen to this, guys. I have a feeling Pikmin 4 is going to support amiibos. Even if you already bought an Olimar amiibo, go buy another one right now and just keep it in a box, like a Doomsday Prepper box. But it'll be like a 4 release Prepper box.
But Luther, I already have 2 Olimar amiibos.
Shut up!
You still haven't opened your Chibi Robo amiibo.
I bought 2 Olimars so I could open one and keep one closed. Sorry.
Just dead silence, like no.
Seriously, I have a feeling that Pikmin 4 is probably, if it comes out on the Wii U. Actually, I think amiibos are probably gonna stick. Okay, here's 2 things I think will probably stick with Nintendo for a very long time. The Wii Remote Controller, they're just gonna keep rebranding it because it's so good to use for specific games. And amiibos are probably gonna stick for a while.
That being said, the NX needs to come with an actual controller.
Yes, and hopefully a more traditionally styled controller.
That's what I mean. And not just a tablet. Tablet's fine, Wii Remote's fine, but give it an actual controller with the console. I don't care if you have to up the price. Just do it.
If it is gonna be as powerful as people say it is, I hope it's not above $500.
Yeah.
Even
I
if
could not afford a $500 console.
Well, I have a job, so regardless of expensive.
Buy one for me, Luther.
No. Regardless of how expensive it is, I'm still probably gonna get it if the lineup is good. If it's not, I'll probably wait. I mean, I bought the Wii U on day one, and I literally sat there playing Nintendo Land and Zombie U for 9 months before Pikmin 3 came out.
Dude, if we have...
I could have had a baby in that time.
Oh.
Same.
If we have, like, all amiibos for each type of Pikmin, that'd be good. Like, that... I can die happy.
Oh my god, guys! Okay, no, okay, I just want... So I'm going through Street Pass, because I haven't checked my Street Pass since, like, Monday. I just met one of my teacher's Miis. He's like 50, and he's worked at Sony for 15 years. Like, he made like 6 Crash Bandicoot games.
What?
And he has a Mii, and he's a Metroid fan.
Kick.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, he even has his cat. Okay, no, I'm done.
Pikmin 4 Windows 10 edition.
Die.
Oh, I thought that said with air horn support.
With hover support, 4 million p at 820,000 frames per second, supports up to 12 Oculus's Rifts.
Gets 2,060 channels known to humans and 12 known to
Guys,
monkeys.
what if the gimmick in the next Pikmin game isn't like the new type of Pikmin? It's like how many Pikmin you can have on the field. So it's like the whole 200cc Mario Kart thing. Now you can have 200 Pikmin.
Now.
Walking fast.
No.
Walking fast.
Pikmin 4, 200cc. Now you can kill your Pikmin twice as fast.
It actually says 200cc on the box. It just shows a picture of like Olimar running like really fast.
And it's like old official artwork too from Pikmin 1, just with lines.
Super fast.
No, what if it's Pikmin Kart? And it's just the captains being carried by Pikmins really quickly.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And then like Louis riding a bullboard.
Yes.
Can it be like a super Gumby looking ballboard too?
I do evil cart.
Evil Kart.
No, like, and instead of like using items from like item boxes, you just like pluck a Pikmin out from underneath you and throw it. But each time you do that, there's like one Pikmin less carrying you, so eventually you just have to.
No. You might be
One
on
of the carts is just him laying on the wayward moon.
Dude, if they come out...
Luther, you might be onto something. Like if you think about like Mario Kart Double Dash, but Pikmin. One person's at the front driving, the other person throws Pikmin, but there's like a little reticle and you can aim your Pikmin at other players. Like imagine that, like you're onto something. Nintendo, call me.
Like you could just somehow implement that into the next game. Like fast travel.
Imagine that in multiplayer.
Okay, if Pikmin 4 has really big levels, I'd love for some kind of fast travel element.
That'd be really cool. Like, get the freaking wing Pikmin to carry you.
Okay, another thing I'd like to see is enemies have like some kind of gradient, like that can be applied to them, so that there can be like slightly different color variations. And maybe even like rare albino like elite enemies.
So they're not like all the same.
I've been playing too much Evolve because that happens in Evolve. There are albino elite enemies.
Yeah. That's actually a cool concept though. Like have more variants.
Like, Nintendo really just needs to go
Make
out.
it more like a real-time strategy game where you actually have to like the thing with Pikmin is you play it through and it's the same thing every time. And I know they touched that a little bit in Pikmin 2, but not very much. Like it needs for a real-time strategy to be really good, have different elements and random events.
Yes. Also, another reason I really hope that Pikmin 4 ends up being on the Wii U and not the NX is because I can already tell you, if Nintendo puts the next Pikmin game on the NX, it's going to just have a bunch of pointless features that only exist to show off the NX hardware. Because they did that with Pikmin 1 and they did that with Pikmin 3.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben's saying he has school in 7 hours.
Yeah,
so I think
I'm getting kind of sleepy too here.
Africa as well, apparently.
Sleep is for the weak.
Sleep is for the weak.
Sleep is for the weebs.
My job is in the
Exactly.
afternoon, so
I have to get
Well,
up.
I'm up at 7 o'clock every morning, so right now I need to sleep too. So.
Yep. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything to say, then thank you.
You
I
better
have a
get this
copy of
closing.
Pikmin 4 right now.
And
You better get this closing right.
captain's
Nathan.
dismissed.
Alright.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do like this. Oh yeah.
Should I kazoo in Spanish now?
Woo
Sure.
wee.
I'm just imagining your icon making those sounds.
The Ferrero Grant.
Woo wee.
Is it still recording?
No.